Hi, this is Corey Jackson again with more from the Less Stress Family Holiday Series. This is part 3, Building Structure. In this video, we're going to look at how building jobs, regular personal and family commitments, routines, and rituals into your household during this holiday season can reduce the overall level of stress and improve your enjoyment of your child and of your family. While we're getting started, I'd like for you to try something with me. I want you to think about how much change has happened in your world over the past year. From last December until now. Take just a moment and think about the things that are different for you now than there were last year at this time. There may have been a lot that has changed for you. Most people, not just here locally, but nationally and globally, are experiencing a tremendous amount of loss in terms of predictability, stability, structure. Things that we have always counted on have shaken up a little more than usual. That said, the holidays are traditionally a time when our routines and schedules change quite a bit. Not always for the worse. Sometimes these changes are wonderful. Think about the amazing foods you might eat this time of year that you don't eat the rest of the year because you just couldn't sustain a diet quite like that. Or think about the way we have a little bit more time together a lot of times if we're off work than usual, or our kids are out of school. So there's we get a lot more kind of family time and closeness than we usually do. However, even that represents a change. So holidays often are a time of great change, placed on top of a year of great change for you, for your family members, and for a lot of other people around you right now. So think about the things that may have changed for you. Next, I'd like for you to think about the things that have not changed for you in the past year in a positive way. Some things that are helpful, that are still around. Some things that you've always done that you continue to do and have been able to continue to do during this past year. It may be something as simple as just maybe going for a walk outside in your neighborhood, or maybe it's a special a television show that you watch that you like to watch every so often, or maybe it's a movie this time of year that you pull out and dust off and watch again. Those things that just don't quite change. Take a moment and think about maybe some things for you and for your family that have not changed, and that's been a positive thing for you in the last year. So in the last video, we talked an awful lot about the powers of connection and how important that is to meeting the needs of the downstairs brain, that blue brain, and potentially even the red brain, that survival state, and how feeling like others know you and wish the best of you and are doing things to actively connect with you provides that sense of nurture and stability that a person needs to be able to manage the stress that's going on around them. This is the other side of that. This is the other, the flip side of the coin, so to speak, in terms of the nurture that's associated with kind of connecting with our kids. This is the structure side of things. And Dr. Becky Bailey, that I've mentioned quite a few times in her book around conscious discipline, talks about like that balance between structure and nurture. It's like if it's all nurture, if it's nurture, you might miss some of the structure part that the brain also craves. Now, the other is true as well. We can get so focused on structure, rules and timelines and deadlines, and everything is accounted for and there's structure, that we miss the nurture part. One without the other is really difficult to do. So we gave you a lot of tools around things to promote nurture and connection in your households. This video is about a few things that you might try implementing during the holiday season, just to kind of boost the level of structure within your household, that might be very, very helpful for your children, who, like I said, are already experiencing quite a bit of change in their worlds, as are you as well. So that the tools for structure here will be helpful for your children, but they may also be very helpful for you. Why structure? Structure is important because the brain is pattern seeking, and it really needs predictability. That part that desires to be known. It likes those patterns. Um, in my work as a counselor, I have some children that I see who come from pretty hard places and have had difficult things happen. And as part of our routines of getting to know each other, we create special greetings that we do with each other, that we do the same way every single time we see each other. And they know that every time they come to see Corey at his office, that they're going to get that greeting the way that I greet each child differently, and they know, oh, that's my greeting, and they feel like, oh, you know me, right? It's almost like the old say the password to get into the clubhouse, or the secret handshake, or something like that, where it's like you are known by someone. You see how that would be soothing to the blue brain that likes to feel known and understood. So creating some of these patterns and some of these structures within your household will definitely meet that need for being known and feeling understood, and that pattern seeking part of the blue brain that likes things to be the way they are, because it boosts your sense of being known and connected to the other person. But also that the red brain kind of craves structure as well. It likes to know what's coming next. Um, Even in situations where what's coming next is really difficult and challenging, if you know what to expect, you have that expectancy that this is going to be difficult, you're a lot more likely to be successful dealing with it. If you don't know what's coming next, even if it's something very good, that surprise can sometimes be challenging if you're not certain of what is going to be the next thing that's going to happen. So in a world of unpredictability, and as predictability has decreased for lots of reasons, for a lot of us, building in things to your household to boost predictability, patterns, intentional thinking, and knowing what to do and what's your job, what are we going to do here, those are going to be some things that can be super, super helpful. So one of the things that we're going to recommend, and these structures, they can all be found in Dr. Becky Bailey's book, Conscious Discipline. It's really a great read, and has a lot of really practical sorts of things. I'm just going to give you a few ideas out of there that you might think about using with your kids during this time of year. The first one is the structure of jobs, family jobs in the household. Jobs are not chores. Chores are those kind of regular things that everyone is expected to do. I want you to think about jobs as something different. It's almost like special assignments. It's like, you've got your chores and that stuff that you do is because you're part of the family, but we're going to have some like special jobs, maybe even some holiday specific special jobs to do during this time to help bring a sense of purpose. If you've got a job to do, your brain is going to know, this is my groove that I fit into. I've got to do that thing because that's what I said I was going to do. They boost the sense of purpose. They increase your sense of I'm intentional in what I'm doing here, and that sense of unity. If I'm doing something that's helping other people's lives feel a little bit better here. I'll give you an example. We run parenting classes here at CAFA, and I have groups of parents come and meet with me every Thursday, and we go over lots of tools and strategies for parenting, but we also practice them week by week as well. And so not only do I encourage parents to have job or to give jobs in their households, every week I have I offer, if people are willing to do jobs in my classes. There's two jobs that I do every week, and one is my timekeeper, whose job it is to let me know when it's like 5 minutes until class is over. If you can't tell yet, just by watching these videos here, I love to talk and I love to describe these things, and I think it's so fun and engaging to be in a room with people and be able to talk about how we can be better parents, and I just think it's so wonderful, and I get so excited that sometimes I kind of go right up to the line, and so having a person be my timekeeper is helpful to me and to everyone else in my parenting class. And I had a man in my class at one point. This is when we very first started these, and I was floating this idea of, hey, we're going to start doing jobs in my classes here, and I had this job. So who could be willing to be my timekeeper? Silence. Silence. No one was taking me up on it, and what they didn't know is I'm a counselor and I'm a master at awkward silence. So I just waited and waited for them to see, did maybe give it a try. So finally, a guy raised his hand. Fine, I'll do it. And he did a fantastic job. And he I saw him messing with his watch, and he had a little reminder, and he did great that night. And next week rolled around, and I said, who'd like to be my timekeeper? Same guy. I got it this week. Okay, I got it. And he continued to do this week after week after week, and he graduated from my class. And during his graduation, we always give the floor where people can kind of talk and say what they've gained from the experience. And he let me know, and the rest of the class know, that he was someone who struggled pretty severely with adult ADHD. He had attention deficit and had a really hard time with things like time management. And he said he kind of raised his hand as a joke, thinking, I'm the last person who needs to be the timekeeper in a class for everyone else. And he said he had to set his watch to be able to remind himself, because he didn't feel like he had the ability to remember on his own, and he did a great job with it. And then he told the whole group a story that he one night was actually a few nights, he said, but one night in particular was thinking about it was dark and raining, and just like, I think I'm maybe not going to come to class tonight. And then you remember, wait a minute, I'm a timekeeper. So Corey's counting on me. The rest of class is counting on me. If I don't go, who's going to be the timekeeper? You see what happened there. He took this job kind of as a joke and had a hard time with it. He wasn't great at it, but he did the best that he could with it, and he found a greater sense of purpose in this job, and it helped him feel connected to the rest of the class and to me and to his role, and he felt proud. It's like, I did it. I showed up for class, and I got Corey to stop talking when he was supposed to stop talking, and he did such a wonderful job. And then he ended up, after he graduated, as someone else volunteered, and he gave asked if he'd give advice to them on how to do it, and he did. And he's like, set an alarm if you're bad at it. But he became an expert. And this is what can happen in your household. So even if kids are maybe not good at a certain task, that job, that sense of this is your purpose. Your purpose is helping life go a little better for the rest of us here. Can go a long way to build those skills and be able to help kind of bring to life what's going on for them. So I was thinking about, especially with the holidays, that idea of with the job comes purpose and comes focus. And I thought about, you know, of all figures in all movies, the person I feel like had a real sense of their job, and this person was serious. They were focused. They knew exactly what their job was, and they just owned it and brought so much to everyone around them because of the job that they did. They were sincere of heart and had a lot of integrity in the job that they did. And that person, of course, is Buddy the elf. He was a person who knew what his job was. It was to bring Christmas cheer and to decorate to the best of anyone's ability and to work on things with his hands. And it's like when he had that sense of this is my job, this is what I'm supposed to do, nothing could stop him. And every ounce of extra energy he had would be focused into creating that wonderful thing for the other people. So think about that in your homes, having your own little Buddy the elves there to do these wonderful things in your household. And I would talk about this with them, that you know, during this time we're going to have some special jobs here. I'll give you some examples of some things that have been helpful in my household and in other people's households. So these are what jobs can look like. One is just the encourager. Um, you know, as I mentioned, we I think in the last video I spent a week with Becky Bailey and a whole lot of others training in this conscious discipline model, and we practiced there as well. And every table, everyone had jobs at every table, and one person's job was just the encourager to say kind things, write kind notes, do kind things, and they would do this every day, you know, and they got really good at it. And it felt good when you got a note from the encourager or had a kind word from the encourager. Like, oh wow, that feels good. And you didn't even always know that that was their job. But when we kind of debriefed, we found that, you know, having those jobs helped us be more active in those things. So if you want more encouragement in your household, give the job of the encourager and let one of your kids let that be their job and let them grow at it and become an expert. The breathing experts, we talked about our star breathing. We've got our star up here. Smile, take a breath, and relax. You might have someone that's their job. If they notice that the tension is starting to rise, they say, hey, wait a minute, it's time for us to take a star breath. And how cool would that be if it was one of your kids, not you, that was encouraging people to smile, take a breath, and relax, to use a positive emotional regulation tool with hard brain science behind it. I mean, it's really amazing if that was their job to be the breathing helper or the breathing expert. You'll find that they would probably do it more themselves. It would also maybe help their brothers and their sisters, might even help you sometimes notice it's time to take a breath. And when you see them become the expert, that's a pretty special time. It could even be like the story chooser. You know, maybe that's part of your evening rituals. Is you build a story time in. It's a structure, right? And if you know that's part of it, letting someone be the story chooser, that they're going to have to spend some time and energy finding the story to be able to to have for the, because if they don't, what are we going to do at story time, right? So it's going to help them again shape that behavior. The smile giver, what if, how cool a job is that? Your job is to smile at others often. Just smile, just give them kind eyes. And you can even share with them when you're doing that, when you're smiling and giving people kind eyes, remember what that does. It boosts their oxytocin, helps people feel connected. It boosts their dopamine, that sense of good feeling. It feels good, and it releases endorphins. So the smile giver is actually helping everyone hurt less and feel better and feel connected. How cool is that? Like, and you let them know that. It's like, wow, when you look at people kindly and you smile at them, you're helping their brain work better, right? And you're helping their pain go away. that's a good feeling, right? The family activity picker, man, if we had like a family activity each night and it's one person's job to pick the activity, especially like with some of your older kids, your tweens, your teens, I mean, honestly, if they can work Google or Pinterest or um, find some sort of website where they have activity, you know, they can find family activities. You know, they can do some cool things that way. So, so think about that being the job, and how cool would that be for a kid if they picked an activity and they noticed everyone having a good time with the activity that they picked. See how they feel like they made life a little better for everyone else, and the whole family is closer because of what they did. Jobs, it's a simple structure, but it has a huge amount of potential for powerful things in your families. So that's one structure. Another one is commitments. So we've been practicing this. I didn't do a commitment at the first of this video like I did in the last two, because I thought we were going to get to this, and I'll just do all the explaining with it right now. Commitments help us know when we're on or off target. If you set a commitment, remember my commitment from the first video that I will practice speaking calmly and slowly was my commitment. And I gotta tell you, it's still a little challenging for me. And if you'll notice, my rate kind of rises and falls sometimes, and that's me checking in with my commitment. I committed to you all that I would do the best I could to speak slowly and calmly as we're doing these videos. Although I'm feeling very excited inside, I'm going to do my best to communicate clearly. And sometimes I have to breathe and I have to get back on track, because I recognize, you know, if I'm talking about something that's really exciting to me, and my energy goes up, and I find myself, I'm talking really fast right now, and I'm letting that excitement kind of rule what's happening, and I consciously recognize it, and I say, Corey, you're off of your commitment right now, right? And I gently guide myself back. It's like, okay, this is where you wanted, this is where you wanted to go, but you're over here now. Okay, take a breath. Let's get back over here, right? You have to decide what you're going to do when you notice that you're off target. You know, for me, it's with this one, it's like I take a breath, and I look at the camera and decide, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. And I take that gentle guiding back to that place that I ought to be. And if, you know, I notice that I'm like, whoa, I'm speaking calmly and clearly, and I'm practicing that for the people that are hearing me, I can say, hey, Corey, you're doing it. You're on target right now. So think about things that you can do, um, commitments that you can make, and I would, you know, try to write these down. You know, if you have a little chalkboard like this where you can do this activity, decorate it, hang it up. You could even do, like, you know, your family commitment up here, and you could put your jobs down below or something like that, and like hang it up somewhere in your house where you see it a lot. You know, if you're passing through a certain door each day, or have it where you have your breakfast every morning, or you have it on the wall on the door, by the door, so that every time you leave the house, you think about your commitment. Practicing making commitments builds intentional thinking and focused, goal-directed, goal-oriented behavior. So we're going to build that structure. If you don't ever have any plans of where you would like to be, you're not going to get anywhere, right? But this is a way to shape where you would like for things to be for you and for your family for that day or for that week. Sometimes commitments are big and they need to be something you work on for like a whole week. Sometimes it's like, you know, today we're going to work on giving kind words to each other, right? We're going to practice wishing each other well today. Today I commit to believing the best in other people. Those sorts of things are things you could add on your commitment board. So it's just, today I commit to whatever it is. So you got jobs, building purpose, building unity, um, and then we're going to have commitments that are sharpening our focus, saying, I'm going to get from here to there. I'm going to recognize when I'm off, and I'm going to get back on track, and I'm going to make that commitment. And we celebrate when we make our commitments, right? And if we don't meet our commitment that we hoped to get to, we give ourselves an oops, right? We practiced that last time. Oops, you made a mistake. You're off target. You're still okay with me. You're wonderful with me. You're beautiful. You're great. Let's get back on track here and be that person we know that we can be. All right. So the next part's going to be really kind of nuts and bolts of like building routines within your household during these holiday times. So realizing that even if it's loosey-goosey, I'd say that school from home is not loosey-goosey. School from home is really hard for kids. It's not getting up, getting out the door, staying at school for these hours and coming home. But it is very challenging, and it does have a sense of routine and structure to it. The teachers have worked very, very hard to be able to build in really challenging times. So that being said, when that's changed over the 2-week holiday, think about what you can do to build those routines back into the household for your children. And it may sound like fun to sit around playing Xbox all day or binging shows on Netflix or something like that. But I think you've probably seen some of the fruits of that in your children. If they've, it's too much of a good thing, eventually enough is enough, right? So, think about, it's good to have maybe more free time than usual. So kids don't feel ripped off, feel like it's still the holiday break and I still get to hang out my PJs for most of the day and watch more shows or play more games or do more things that I would like to do, play outside or whatever your kids would like to do. But building in some sense of predictability and routine can be really, really helpful. So I've got a few little examples here. This is the way it can look. It can be, picture charts are great, especially if you do have a lot of blue brain, a lot of kids with a lot of emotion. Pictures catch the brain more quickly than written words do. So if they're already kind of feeling a little on edge, maybe having some picture charts. And an idea of doing this as well is, instead of just doing the simple little clip art, is actually maybe work with your kids to build a schedule, right? Things like maybe something as simple as making their bed in the morning. There's some benefits to that. If you feel like you've accomplished something the first thing in the day, it's there and you're ready to jump in and it feels nice at the end of the day. Your room looks a little nicer. So, some things like that, but go with them and talk to them about why it's important and say, okay, well, why don't let's make our picture chart here for what we're going to do and do it with them. It's like, okay, let's make the bed first. That's what we need to do. Okay, snap a picture on your phone, and you've got them doing the thing that they're supposed to do that you could post into a document or print or something to like stick on a poster. And what do we do after that? Well, maybe we brush teeth. Okay, let's go do that together. Should do that and snap another little picture. You're kind of documenting what a day could look like, right? Then, okay, free time's next. What does free time look like? You show me, kiddo. You go, find something fun to do and we'll snap a picture. And so that, you see how this could work. And then, meal times, maybe some quiet time, maybe some any chores that they need to do during the day, something like that. So it can be like really, really structured like that, or it can be a little more loose. The other one over there with just the words on it is one that might be more appropriate for like teens, tweens. It's like, what do we expect? What are some things you need to get done during this day? And maybe it's not hour by hour, but it's like, hey, by the time this evening comes, here's 2 or 3 or 4 things that need to be done in a day, right? These are the things that we expect. Once those are done, man, you've got your time to do what you'd like to do. But building in a little bit of routine, a little bit of structure kind of helps mark the days a little bit more. Um, and all of us that have been in uncertain times know that marking days can there's something that feels kind of good about that, of like, okay, we made it through a week and another week, and this is what we've done during this time. So those are like some calendar schedule sorts of things that you could do if you wanted to. Another one, this comes from Dr. Dan Siegel's, um, one of his recent articles. I pulled this off of his website, the Healthy Mind Platter. He wrote some things about this that say optimal brain functioning. These are things that promote healthy brain activity. And there's like these 7 things here that, a person would do well to do during the course of a day. Again, it's not regimented, structured. You have to do it at a certain time, but it's like, hey, how many of these things have you done today? Sleep. Did you get okay sleep last night? How's your sleep doing? Sleep's important for brain functioning, for brain health, right? Physical time. Did you do something physical today? Even if it's just get up and walk around the neighborhood or something like that. It doesn't have to be strenuous, but it could be. Went on a good bike ride today, or hike or something, or what did we do that was physical? Some focus time. Did you do something that you focused your attention on, that it took some mental focus to be able to do? Maybe it's not algebra like you were doing in school before you left, but did you do something that stretched your brain a little bit? Some connection time. Did you connect with other people? Did you do something that was social in one way or another? Did you just wave to a neighbor, say hi, chat with somebody on text? Some form of interpersonal communication is healthy for the brain. Playtime. That one's a good one. You may have to encourage, though, that what did you do for playtime today? Make sure they're doing, let them know you playing is actually good for your brain. It's healthy. These aren't all hard things. Some of them are pretty good. Then downtime, just doing not much. That shift from high energy to low. Did you do something that kind of brought your energy down a little bit, that you're able to just do some relaxing, kind of low intensity sorts of things? And then time in, that like I'm focused on a goal directed kind of activity. I'm engaged in something really well. Did you do something that kind of like, you could tell that you were building a skill, or that you were accomplishing a task, something that was like, I'm engaged in this thing. I'm thinking, I'm learning new things, I'm growing. It's good stuff. So you might think about, maybe printing this off and like hanging it up somewhere in your house, and even just doing a check-in every now and then. Hey, just how many of these do you think you did today? Right? Let's take a look and see what you might have done. And next, I want to look at just this idea of like family rituals and how important those are. Those rituals, things that you do the same year after year, season after season. This promotes that idea of I'm a part of something, right? And like I mentioned before, maybe it's that same Christmas movie that you watch each time this year. Maybe it's like baking cookies or something like that. Or we have we have a lot of rituals in our household, especially around family, around holidays, and most of them involve cooking or baking in some way or another. And we've had the ingredients for fudge in my house for the last days, I think since Thanksgiving, and we're going to get to it. And my kids asked me, said, Dad, when are we going to make it? It's like not really the holiday season until we make that fudge that we do every year. And it's kind of fun. It's like they look forward to it, and they have since they were little. And I looked forward to it when I was little too, because I made it with my mom and with my grandmother. And it's like this thing that passed on down the line, and I feel connected to my family, to my history, to my culture. And it's something that's, when we a lot of times give the fudge out as gifts to other people and things like that. But it's little things like that are super, super helpful. And so think about, what are those things that you do? Make sure you do some of those this year. And as a matter of fact, it may even be good, like I mentioned, to trace and talk about, why do we do these things? right? Talk with your kids. Make it something that's special and that's meaningful. We do this because, fill in the gap, show them how those rituals were built. And if you don't have any, this would be a great time to build some new ones. Think about rituals that you could build with your children, family traditions. Um, some of them may be, religious in nature and are connected to your faith and to your certain parts of the holiday season that are really have that kind of spiritual focus to them. And, talk to your kids about those things. Some of them may be just family traditions that you do every year the same way. I was talking to another family this past week, and they go out and look at lights every year at a certain time. There's a certain time after Thanksgiving until Christmas, and they're like, okay, it's about that time. Let's all load up, and we're going to go look at lights together. And they have that time together in the car, and it's really special and wonderful. So think about what are some things you could do to build that sense of ritual and belonging between you and your children during this holiday season. So, putting it into action. Some things that you can do. What I'd like for you to do is this one. There's a few more. If you do have the workbook, there's some spaces for you to do these things. If not, you can just jot these down really quickly and work on them. But there's a place in here to brainstorm family jobs. Look at some things that you can do during the holidays, some jobs you can do. So talk with your kids about that. See if they've got some ideas. They might have some really cool ones, and you might as well. Also, I want to encourage you to create a commitment board. It could be a piece of paper that you write on every day, or a notepad, or the chalkboards like we use to be able to do that. And you make it special. Put it somewhere where you can do that, and you maybe put the jobs and the commitments on there. Also, discuss family rituals, family traditions, things that make the holiday special for you. I would encourage you to do that. But also maybe think about some scheduling. Maybe it's time for you guys as the parents to sit down and think about, okay, again, it doesn't have to be like set in stone, really, really heavy. Make sure you have those healthy brain platter things in there, like downtime, playtime, but building some sense of structure where that brain's need for patterns, that pattern-seeking part of the brain is able to say, okay, we know kind of a few things to expect during the household over the next days. So thank you so much again for your time, for the commitment to making this one of the best, potentially best holidays you've had with your kids. Even though it's very uncertain and unusual times, this is a great moment to maybe build some new things within your household that will reduce the overall stress, will improve your enjoyment of your children and of your holiday. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.